We're here with Alan Park. We're at the Lift Expo. Good to see you again, man. How's it
Thanks,
going?
you too, Russell. Nice to be here.
So Alan gave a talk about his Green Crush podcast and stuff. How does it feel to be at this event that's got a lot of corporate sales people?
Yeah. Well, I'm not selling any corporate thing.
I know
I'm just giving away information.
But this isn't your sort of your bongs and glass blowers
Yeah.
and dab people. There's that. A lot of cool stuff is going on here, but also Tweed is here.
Yeah.
A lot of other corporations here. How do you feel about all that?
Sure. Well, here's how I feel about it. I think that inherently, a lot of corporations are just as dead as that word actually translates to. Corpus. And I would like to see none of that. But I'm also aware of the fact that that's impossible. And it's not going to happen. And so there are various different calibers of, I guess, efficacy within the purveyor and the caliber of the stuff itself and the other if they use things on it, non-organic matters and that kind of thing, and how they cultivate, and I don't know that. So I know there are a lot of large-scale operations creating large-scale amounts of cannabis, and I don't know personally, from not having done the research, who's better than who. And who? Now you've told me about some companies that you have studied this more deeply than I have, and you've mentioned a few names of companies that you don't think are operating under fair, reasonable practices, and you've also highlighted a couple that do. So, but of those, all of them have to get on board and do whatever they're going to do, because I think that even if they're large, I think that a big purveyor of substandard stuff that's doing substandard practices and causing a lot of problems eventually will fall off. Okay? Mm-hmm. Like there are a lot of vendors here that in a year, 2, 3, 5 years time are not going to be here because they weren't doing so well, or they lost interest, or they weren't good at it.
And that leads to my other question: is as you're walking around, have you noticed that you can really tell the pot people from the sales people?
Yeah.
Some of these guys
Sure.
I see, they're the same people, guys and ladies too. The same people you would see in a mall selling hot tubs.
Yeah, but I also think that that's a part of a prejudice, because I think when someone takes a look at me, they may be able to ascertain that I have used the substance.
Yeah.
But I also think that there are a lot of people out there that you don't know that they use it. And I think a lot of the
from their clothes
like
or their haircuts. I mean, from a
like they want to come. Listen, I'm wearing this tie because anybody that is to be believed must wear a tie.
Or a lab coat.
I watch the news.
Or a lab coat.
Or a lab
I remember
coat.
that kids wear a tie or a lab coat.
I might get a green lab coat. Who knows? But
a green lab coat.
Yeah,
that can be arranged.
Everything has to be green.
So,
but I just want to tell you that we have a world where we need these large purveyors, especially in Canada, this giant country of not a lot of people in it. And you need to have these large purveyors. And some of them are going to be sons of bitches, I think, and some of them are going to fail. And hopefully it's the bad ones that fail, and the good ones that seem to be doing positive, beneficial kind of research and ways and means are going to do well. I think that's the best thing. I think some people here are going to do well and some aren't.
So what's the plan moving forward for Green Crush?
I'm trying to get this word out as widely as possible to empower people to have the awareness that even though they didn't go through something as crazy and painful and life-ending as I have, and then turning it around, that there are an unbelievable amount of medical applications possible and doable with this substance. And I'm also pointing out that with that, a lot of people are saying that stuff isn't doable. And we have that in the news. We have it on the news. We have it in the newspapers like the Globe and Mail. We have it on TV. We have it all over the place. We have it every time a vaccine thing comes up. Oh, you always got to go with the pharmacy on this one. Every single time, across the board. And it's just not that way, or I wouldn't be standing here. So I want to show other people.
What's the thing you're going to be interviewing in the States?
What's that?
What's the thing you're going to be interviewing 3 million?
Yeah, I'm going to be on Coast to Coast on November 4th.
Coast to Coast.
Which is November 4th is a Saturday, and then it passes after midnight. I think it starts at 11 p.m. and it goes into 3, 4 in the morning or something. I'm going to do between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. So it's actually, technically speaking, November 5th, which is cool. Yeah. That's my birthday, and that's not why I'm getting interviewed on that day, but it's
it's Alan Park's birthday, so we're going to have him on, and 3 million people.
Yeah, what do you want for your birthday? I want to tell 3 million people how they can turn their life around if they're told by other people they can't.
Cool.
That's what I want to do. So I'm just trying to get this thing out. And how do I want to deal with this thing? I'm saying to this cancer that tried to kill me, that it is now responsible for providing me with a living. And I can't think of a
Cool.
better irony than that.
Cool.
Now, I don't do
Very
it by...
Canadian story.
I don't sell oil. I don't sell any of this stuff. I don't sell anything. I've been
All
buying
he sells
things.
is this.
I sell that I talk about it, and I
The
sell
talking,
that I
the
can
knowing.
go and talk about it in a way that a lot of people can't or won't do, and I'm happy to do that.
Cool.
So I'll talk about it, and I want to make a living by having sponsors who are ethical enough to get behind my voice and say, yeah, you know what, that guy's telling the truth, and we sell this stuff, we're going to give him an endorsement, or we're going to help this tour, or maybe it's the so-and-so dispensary presents Alan Park talks about how this stuff really can help.
Exactly.
Something like that.
Cool.
That's what I'm going for.
Why do I get so mad about that? Hey man, you need to settle down. The reason why I can't settle down is because in 2013, when I was told I'm gonna die for sure, there's nothing we can do. The science says you're cooked. We can only take away some of the pain. I'm so sorry you're that far advanced. I'm the professional here. You're just a guy coming in with this disease. I'm one of the most famous surgeons in Ontario. I'm one of the best in Canada. I go to conferences about medical applications of prostate surgery, etc., around the world. So I've never heard of this. The cannabis chemicals stop prostate cancer growth. Notice it doesn't say what it often says. It doesn't say some cannabis chemicals might be shown to perhaps, in certain conditions, maybe stop this, the way they couch it in this legalese BS that they now want to take legalese, by the way. Who knows Spanish? You're an English-speaking guy, right? Do you know Spanish? Well, it's an entire language, and so is legalese, and we all can't wait to wrap that around this God's green fantastic plant. Cannabis chemicals stop. That can't be right. I have it. So I know that it's true. It stops prostate cancer growth. Arrests. And then later you can reverse it. We can talk about liposomal vitamin C, but that's a different convention. I'm not going to sell that stuff here. So here we go. Active chemicals. First two words. Active chemicals. This is one thing the premier of the province is not. Right on the first word of this story. She's not active, not in a positive way. In cannabis have been shown to halt. Not might be, could be shown to maybe, sorta, kinda. Have been shown to halt cell growth, according to research published in the British Journal of Cancer, government organization, mainstream news, not fake news. Gotta say these 9 things every time you bring up a claim that mainstream's not, well, that's not on NBC, I didn't see that, you must be. Shut up, this is a big deal over here, okay? These are British people. No, these are research people, man. Look at this. Researchers from the University of Alcalá in Madrid tested the effects of active chemicals. This is not a placebo, you government pigs. You can't make legal distribution policies on cannabis for people to use when you don't know what this is. When you haven't taken the time to look at the research of this. You don't then get to sit down and draw up a bunch of repressive laws, such as the public possession of budding/flowering cannabis plants is an indictable offense up to 5 years imprisonment. It's a summary conviction offense up to 6 months imprisonment and $5,000. Who said they're getting my $5,000 because I went outside and grew a plant? No offense to any of the purveyors here, and God love you for showing up. It's a plant, it's a weed, it grows in the dirt. The only thing bad about Canada is too cold most of the time to keep it outside. Because these active chemicals, called cannabinoids, just to keep it not too confusing, on 3 human prostate cancer cell lines, all of which I was riding like electrical power lines, PC3 DUA45, these won't be on a t-shirt, hopefully you never heard of them, and LNCAP. The prostate cancer cells carry molecular garages, thank you for the metaphor, I'm not a surgeon, called receptors. a receptor in which cannabinoids can park. Well, of course, then when this is my last name, I get an extra kick out of this thing. I have parked cancerous cells in the garage where they can't get out. No, I haven't cured cancer. No, I can't be told I'm in trouble for curing cancer. I don't cure cancer. No one really can. What you're doing is rendering your body inhospitable to disease. How does that sound? The cancer's going, but I used to be in and now I can't do. Get out of here, cancer. The scientists showed for the first time that if cannabinoids park on a receptor called the CB2, you've also got a CB1, right? You knew that, right? When you had a CB2, you knew there was a CB1 somewhere. The cancer cells stop multiplying. It doesn't say the cancer cells maybe, under some strains, potentially might shut down sometimes. It says this is a done friggin' deal. Okay, so that's why I get upset about it. Now you could say, well, you know, they're doing their work, they're doing the best they can. And I could say, well, no, they're not, because when my expert, whom I cannot wait to film and ask about all of this, who's such a friggin' expert, he doesn't see this. August 19, 2009, almost 4 full years before I'm told there's nothing can be done, you criminal. 2009, I'm being told by an expert 4 years later, I'm cooked, there's nothing you can do. And I even asked, is there nothing else I can do? He goes, no, that's it.